The first time he came to the door, he forgot the package. The second time, he took something my husband hadn't touched in years. My name is Amanda Tilley. I'm 47, and I live in a house that looks perfect from the outside. White trim, blue shutters, hydrangeas that bloom right on cue. People walk by and say things like, "You've got the nicest yard on the block." And I smile and wave and water the grass like it matters. I've been married to Mark for 22 years. He sells commercial real estate and has since before we met. Back then, he had ambition. Now he has a Bluetooth in one ear and a second cell phone he never lets me touch. Not that I ask. We used to laugh a lot. I remember that. I remember being able to tell what mood he was in just by the way he pulled into the driveway. These days, I can't even hear his car over the silence. Our kids are gone now. Lauren moved to Chicago last fall. Ben started college in Pennsylvania 2 months ago. And the house, the one that used to be filled with cereal bowls and slammed doors and teenage music I pretended to hate, is dead quiet. I thought I'd enjoy the peace. I thought maybe Mark and I would finally have time for each other. But the truth is, we're like guests in a hotel now. We make polite conversation at breakfast, send texts about bills, and sleep on opposite sides of a king-sized bed that feels more like a canyon. Some days, I wake up before sunrise just to watch the light change on the walls. Not because it's beautiful, but because it reminds me time is passing. I don't talk about this with anyone. Not my sister. Not my friends from church. Not even my old coworker Sharon, who calls every so often to check in. I smile. I say, "We're doing fine." And I close the blinds a little tighter. Because that's what good wives do, right? They stay. They fold laundry that no one thanks them for. They refill coffee canisters and clean out expired salad dressings. They keep the house running while their lives fall quietly apart. That was me. Until Eli. I met Eli on a Wednesday, late September. One of those days where the air smells like burnt leaves and the wind carries just enough bite to make you think about sweaters. I had just gotten out of the shower, hair still wet, wrapped in a towel. I threw on Mark's old OSU sweatshirt and a pair of leggings that had seen better days. I wasn't expecting anyone. Then came the knock. 3 short raps. Confident. I remember hesitating. We live in a safe neighborhood, the kind where people don't knock unless they're selling something or lost. I peeked out the window. He stood there in a navy delivery polo, one hand on his hip, the other holding a clipboard. Mid-30s, maybe younger. Tall. Fit. Not gym fit. Work fit. Like a man who carries more than his fair share and doesn't complain about it. I opened the door, trying not to look flustered. "Package for Amanda Tilley?" He looked down at the clipboard, then back up with a crooked smile. "Except, I forgot it." I blinked. "You forgot the package." He scratched the back of his head. "Left it on the truck." "I'm new to this route. Thought I'd save time." "Guess not." I laughed. Just a little. More than I'd laughed in weeks. "You want me to sign the air?" He grinned wider. "Only if it'll make your day." He turned to go, then paused. "I'll be back. Promise." And then he was gone. But something about the way he said it, the way he looked at me as he walked away, made me feel like he wasn't just talking about the package. 2 hours later, he came back. This time, he knocked softly. He handed me a medium-sized box, warm like it had been sitting in the sun. "Here's your almost forgotten delivery." Our fingers brushed. Brief. Accidental. But it made my skin hum. I closed the door and leaned against it. I told myself it was nothing. Just a charming delivery guy doing his job. I told myself that until the next week, when he came again. At first, I thought it was coincidence. Another package. Another knock. But when I checked the name on the box, it was for a different address. "Looks like I'm losing my touch," Eli said, handing it over with that same crooked smile. "This isn't mine," I said. He leaned in a little, playful. "Sure, it's not just an excuse to see me again?" I laughed before I could stop myself. It startled me. The sound of it. Light. Real. "You want me to take it back?" "No," I said too quickly. "I mean, if you want to come in for a second, I could check the order number." He stepped inside. His boots left faint marks on the tile. He smelled like autumn and engine oil. A real smell. Not department store cologne. "Nice place," he said, glancing around. "Quiet." "Too quiet," I replied without thinking. He looked at me. Not like he was judging. More like he understood. We stood there, the silence stretching. Finally, he nodded toward the counter. "That's a lot of mail." I looked over. Bills. Flyers. Catalogs I hadn't requested. "Yeah. I guess I don't throw things away as fast as I should." He leaned on the edge of the doorway, arms crossed. "Some things are worth keeping, even if you don't use them anymore." I didn't know what to say, so I didn't. After that day, he came once a week. Sometimes twice. Always with something in hand. A package. A clipboard. One time, just a coffee. "Wrong address," he said with a wink. I didn't drink it, but I held it in both hands until the cup went cold. He never crossed a line. Not technically, but his eyes lingered. His compliments were quiet. Casual. "You always wear that sweatshirt? Looks better every time." "You change your hair?" "No?" "Huh. Looks different today. Softer." "I bet your kids miss you." And once, just once. "Does your husband know how lucky he is?" I didn't answer. Couldn't. Because no, Mark didn't know. Or maybe he did, and just didn't care anymore. That night, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror and stared at myself. I ran my fingers through my hair, touched my lips, took off the sweatshirt. I didn't recognize the woman staring back, but for the first time in years, I wanted to. It was early October when it almost happened. I was baking pumpkin bread, just for something to do. The doorbell rang, but there was no package on the mat. Eli stood there, hands in his pockets. "No delivery today," he said. "Just thought I'd say hi." I hesitated, then stepped aside. He came in, walked around the kitchen like he belonged. "Smells amazing. You always bake for no reason." "I always bake when I don't want to think," I replied. He nodded. "What are you trying not to think about?" I opened my mouth, closed it. He stepped closer, close enough that I could feel the heat off his skin, the smell of wind and spice. "Amanda," he said, his voice low, steady. "Tell me to go. And I will." My heart was pounding. My hands shook. "Tell me to go," he repeated. I looked up at him. And then, my phone buzzed on the counter. Mark, the screen read. He was calling from the office. Again, just like every other day. And I didn't answer. I let it ring. I let it ring. The phone stopped ringing, but the sound of it echoed in the kitchen long after. Eli and I didn't move for several seconds. The timer on the oven beeped, sharp and shrill. I turned away from him, grabbed an oven mitt, and pulled the bread from the heat. The smell of cinnamon and regret filled the room. Behind me, he said nothing. I didn't offer him a slice. I didn't turn around. His footsteps retreated toward the door, then stopped. Amanda. Just my name. No questions. No pressure. But my name had never sounded like that before. Not from anyone. I turned, finally. He was standing in the doorway, hand on the knob, eyes heavy with something I couldn't name. He didn't kiss me, didn't touch me, but I could still feel him long after he left. That night, I lay in bed beside Mark, wide awake. I could hear his shallow breathing, his occasional snore. I turned my back to him and stared at the wall. The sweatshirt I had worn when Eli came over still hung on the hook near the front door. It smelled faintly of burnt sugar and October air. I didn't sleep. The next time Eli came, I opened the door before he could knock. He stared at me, like he knew something had shifted. He wasn't holding anything. No clipboard. No coffee. No excuses. "I don't have long," he said. "I just wanted to see you." I stepped aside. He came in. We stood in the kitchen, the distance between us shrinking with each breath. He reached for me. Not to pull me in, not yet. He just let his fingers brush mine. Gentle. Testing. I didn't stop him. We didn't kiss. We didn't do what I know you're thinking we did. But we crossed a line. One of those invisible ones you never see until it's behind you. He touched my face like it was something fragile, like he knew it had been a long time since anyone had. I let my head fall against his chest, just for a second. And in that second, I remembered who I used to be. Before routines, before schedules, before Mark stopped seeing me, Eli never asked me for anything, but he kept coming. And I kept opening the door. One day, I wore lipstick. Nothing bold, just enough to give color to my lips. When he saw me, he tilted his head and said, "That's new." I shrugged. Felt like trying something different. "Looks good on you." And then he left. Like always. But that night, I wore the lipstick to bed. The downfall began the way most things do now, with a smart device. Mark had installed a security camera months ago, a discreet one above the porch. Said it was for package theft. I never thought about it. Never worried. Until the night he came home early. I was in the kitchen, baking again. Apple crisp this time. He walked in, briefcase in one hand, phone in the other. "Amanda." His tone made me freeze. "You want to tell me why the delivery man knows to come inside?" I blinked. "What?" He turned the screen toward me. There we were. Me, stepping aside, letting Eli walk in. It didn't show anything else. Nothing inappropriate. But it didn't need to. Mark looked at me, and for the first time in years, I saw real emotion in his face. Hurt. Rage. Disgust. "Did you sleep with him?" he asked. "No," I whispered. He stepped closer. "Did you want to?" I couldn't answer, because we both knew the answer. He laughed, bitter. "I spend my days closing million-dollar deals, and you're here falling for a delivery guy with nice arms?" He saw me, I snapped. "So what?" I didn't. Not for years. Silence. He turned and walked upstairs. The next morning, he was gone. His closet half empty. His side of the bed cold. The ring box sat on the counter. Open. Empty. No note. Just silence. It's been 6 weeks. I haven't seen Eli. I don't know where Mark is. Some days I sit on the porch and stare at the street, half hoping the truck pulls up. Half hoping it never does. The packages still come. But they're always for me. And the delivery drivers never linger. I bake less now. I sleep more. And when I walk past the mirror, I don't avoid my reflection. I don't know what's next. But I know this. He left the ring. I left everything else.